Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you so much for dropping by this video. So this video is made for people who have a basic understanding of Jodo Shinsu or Shintoism. If that's not you, you might want to do a little reading on the topic so that this video makes a little sense. So I was reading Rev Josho of Amitaji Temple's book, the Four Profound Thoughts, and I was so touched by this one section of the book that I just felt that I needed to share it. He writes, the goal of the Buddha path is to escape from samsara and attain the state of Buddhahood or Nirvana, perfect enlightenment. And he has a little subnote about Nirvana. Nirvana comes from the verb nerve, to extinguish, and is wrongly misunderstood as by many as becoming nothingness. However, nirvana means to extinguish the flame of blind passion and illusion and to awake to the true reality of our Buddha nature, which all beings possess. In the Jodo Shinsu school, the state of nirvana or Buddhahood is to be attained in the moment of birth in the Pure Land of Amida after death. The term nirvana is equivalent to perfect enlightenment, Buddha nature, Buddhahood, etc. And I would just add to that, in Mahayana thought, nirvana is that, very well said, is that which is free of all suffering and that which cannot be tainted by suffering. In fact, I was reading one Mahayana text, and in essence it said, all things in existence can be classified into one of two categories, that which is of samsara and that which is of nirvana. That which is of nirvana is, of course, free of all suffering perpetually. It cannot be touched or tainted. Whereas that which is of samsara is perpetually tainted by samsara, and that's the almost the flavor. The flavor of nirvana is eternal freedom, whereas the flavor of samsara is perpetual suffering. So again, I'll go back to the reading. The goal of the Buddha path is to escape from samsara and attain the state of Buddhahood or nirvana, perfect enlightenment. This is the highest freedom and happiness, which does not depend on any cause and condition. And it is the potential inherent in all sentient beings, no matter how low they are now on the scale of spiritual evolution. Simply stated, just like all seeds have the natural potential to become trees, all sentient beings have the natural potential to become Buddhas, that is, to awaken their own Buddha nature. This is what is meant in Buddhism by all beings have Buddha nature. Beyond the various layers of our delusory personality, the Buddha nature is the true reality, uncreated and indestructible, the treasure hidden in every one of us. When it's discovered, the cause of suffering and repeated birth and death are annihilated, and one who attains it becomes himself a savior and a guide of all beings that are still caught in the slave of samsara. So not only are we on this journey to find our own deepest freedom and happiness, Buddhahood, but we're on this journey to get to the place where we can actually lead each other. And this isn't just to like temporary happiness or temporary feel goods, because as Rev Josho so eloquently points out, Buddhahood, nirvana, and attaining nirvana, and the two are in many ways interchangeable, is about causeless happiness, meaning happiness that has no cause. In life, it's like, oh, I have a good meal, so I feel happy. Well, that's temporary happiness, and it has a cause. And since it has a cause, it's going to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Whereas the type of happiness that we're looking for here on the Buddha path. Thank you. See, I just got good news that my pizza is here, and that just makes me feel very happy. And the thing is that, thanks for offering, brother. I'll be up there in a minute. But this temporary flash of happiness that I just experienced, that it has a cause. And it's like, if only people could be giving me good news like that 24/7, well, maybe I would be happy 24/7, except it really doesn't work that way. But the attainment of Buddhahood, now, that's where we get the good news 24/7. And we realize that we are the good news. And the good news isn't dependent on any conditions, on any circumstances. It's perpetual joy, perpetual peace and freedom. And not just that, the knowledge that this is never going to end. This joy and happiness is never going to end. That's why they say, in Buddhist thought, that samsara, that all experiences are tainted with suffering, because no matter how good it is, it's going to end, and that's going to hurt, and we're going to want more. Whereas the bliss of Nirvana and Buddhahood, it has no end. And then there's this sublime joy of, I almost want to say it's a bit of, maybe a bit of play, in which we joyfully lead others to the state of perpetual freedom. Thank you so much for dropping by. That's so fun that we got that little, good news in there. And let's look for the good news. Let's look for the eternal good news. And thank you so much. Much love. Namo Amida Butsu.